What is going on, my people? My people. Finally, me and my guy, one of my four, or I guess one of my three, because I guess I'm the fourth.
Yeah,
All right, we are here, man. This is the evolution of wrestling. I just made that name up. Hopefully, nobody else has it for copyright reasons. If so, if you got the little C next to it or the little trademark next to it, we will gladly change the name. But until now, this is the evolution of wrestling because we are the boys of Evolution of ACW, man. I'm here with my guy, Mr. Alan Scott, all the way from VA. What's happening, bro?
for sure. What's up, man?
Man, you know what it is, man. I've been wanting to do this for a minute, bro. Like, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We have a group chat, like I'm sure most folks have, and we just kind of wanted to talk about some wrestling, man. We're a rarity, bro. You and me are a rarity. We are two black wrestling nerds in their late 30s.
Right.
Like that's something that you don't really tell a whole lot of people about the fact that you're a 30-year-old black male wrestling fan. Like that's not something you really tell a whole lot of people. But we here, and man, good look, Brody. You took some time away from your because it's the 10:15 where you at right now.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's about wrestling, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. I was, initially I was gonna a couple weeks ago. I was feeling something. I don't know what it was. I think I was watching Shawn Michaels' little biography. You been watching any of those?
Nah,
On
I
A&E?
haven't. No, see, it's messed up because I don't have cable. I use YouTube for everything. So I just use internet, YouTube, whatever I can get, whatever little streaming service I can get. I use all that.
If you're able to go ahead and try to download any one of those biographies, now mind you, we're wrestling fans, so there's not a whole lot about Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold that we don't know at this point. You know what I mean? Like we've seen every documentary. It's almost kind of like certain guys in wrestling are almost kind of like Tupac and Biggie. Like there's not a lot that we don't know about these dudes at this point. We've heard pretty much everything. However, the one thing that the Shawn Michaels thing did for me is kind of solidified, man, how important that dude is and how really good he was. Even Ric Flair was like, Shawn Michaels is the greatest in-ring performer of all time.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I don't know if it gets any higher praise than the Nature Boy saying that you're the best.
Right. So, that speaks volumes.
Who's your guy? Because you know who my guy is, man. Who's your guy?
I'm a Dwayne Johnson. I'm Dwayne the Rock Johnson fan. Like I'm a stan. Like that's my dude. And it's really not about his in-ring skill. It's all about the charisma that he brought, the electricity.
The nigga was cool, bro.
Yeah, he was the coolest dude. Like
it was cool. Like
it was cool.
Man, the $500 shirt.
Exactly.
Like unbuttoned.
$1,000 sunglasses. Come on, man.
He was. Listen, The Rock to me is when you talk about the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. You're like he's definitely one of them dudes that's on there for me. Like let's say as a black kid, well, shoot, exactly. As a black kid at that time, really at any time in wrestling, the black dudes are kind of clowns. You know what I mean? Like you got Coco Beware and the late great Junkyard Dog and some of those things, and it wasn't always the best look for brothers. And then here comes The Rock, and you know what I'm saying, he's wearing the $500 shirt, and he's got the glasses and the eyebrow, and like he was just cool. He's the only people I can think of that referred to himself in the third person.
Yeah.
Like once he called himself The Rock, he never said I.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any time where he was like, and I'm gonna do this. Like, no, The Rock is gonna do this. The Rock is gonna, it's like The Rock was 1-to-1, bro. His promo skills were unbelievable, and I guess that's a pretty good segue. You know what I'm saying? For me, like I think Shawn Michaels is at the top of my list. And if we're talking like best Shawn Michaels, man, 97, 98, Shawn Michaels is not to be effed with. Like that dude was incredible. And if you're talking Rock, I think, man, anytime between 2000 and 2003, that the Hollywood Rock is my favorite. Incarnations of The Rock. Yeah. Hollywood is my favorite. But before any of that happened, before there was a Rock, before HBK was a degenerate, something happened. And on this day, and today is May 27th, 2021, on this day, 25 years ago, if my math is right, I wasn't very good at math. I was an English person. But on this day, the world of wrestling changed. And I sent this little message to our little group chat because
I saw that.
I had to really, really think about it. And the truth is, like, on this day was really the day wrestling shifted from just being just like a little cool family thing that you watch every now and then with your family to just a pop culture phenomenon. You know what I mean? And it started in WCW. And I'm talking about the day that Scott Hall showed up on Monday Nitro as the guy, as a guy looked like he was trying to take over WCW at that point.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought about that and I was like, bro, really? This is the start of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if we want to be incredibly, honest about that, man, today was the start of the Attitude Era. I was in seventh grader, watching that in my basement at home. And I remember the feeling of, did you see Razor Ramon on Nitro?
Right.
That was tight. Tell me what you remember about that day.
Man, I tell you, I was at my grandmother's house. She was living in New Jersey, and we were sitting in the kitchen chilling. We had a TV in the kitchen, so turn that joint on. We was flipping through the channels. We get to was it TNT? I was like, hold on, stop. That's Razor Ramon, and he ain't supposed to be there.
What is he doing here?
Right, he ain't supposed to be there. He's supposed to be on WWF. What's happening? So I made everybody stop, be quiet, and let me listen. Let me see what's happening. And he walked through the crowd. He stood out there for a minute. I was like, okay, something big is happening right now.
Larry Zbyszko and I forget, Tony Schiavone did a great job of selling. Or not, excuse me. I think at that point it was Eric Bischoff did a great job of selling. Like, whoa, what the hell is he doing here? You know, type thing. But I think that was the best kind of description. Like, we are all kind of like, what the fuck is he doing?
Right,
like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Why is he on? And then years later, we look at the curtain call and we were able to see, kind of that thing in their Scott Hall and Kevin Nash's last day in WWE. But I remember at that moment thinking, like, that's weird. Like, what is he doing there? Then he shows up the following week and he shows up to basically kind of say, man, he's got somebody coming with him. Kevin Nash's contract had expired and everything like that, but he just came, a couple of weeks later. And from there it was like, okay, these dudes are here to play. The one weird thing was, this is where WCW, I think this is where they fucked up. This is the first part where they fucked up as far as their superstars. They made WCW wrestlers look so goddamn weak. They made them dudes look like, here comes Scott Hall and Kevin Nash with, bats to the ring. And like every WCW superstar came to the ring to make sure they couldn't get in there and do no damage. So it was like, man, you just made these dudes look like they are just all-time superstars, and Sting and Lex Luger and the Macho Man were just kind of these lower tier JV, kind of players. That's what it really made it look like at that point.
Right. I agree. Yeah, that was they dropped the ball on that one. They dropped the ball.
They did a lot wrong at that point. But I was kind of watching more and more. The thing that really turned it around, do you remember when Eric Bischoff was powerbombed through those tables at I think it was Great American Bash?
Yeah.
Came through, he's out there, he's asking about their partner, and Scott Hall tells him nobody jerks him around and then power bombs him through the table.
Yeah,
that was before Stone Cold ever stunned Vince McMahon or anything like that. Like, that was the first thing that we saw as far as the boss get hands put on him and toss through a table at that point. It took a pretty good bump, through the table.
Right.
And that point was like, wow.
Yeah, that was super crazy. Because, being at the age that we was and not knowing, like, really not knowing what's real and what's not, like, that was significant. That was super significant.
Absolutely, because it was like, oh man, and then you see him calling out using all the names. Remember when WWF, were going in the direction of the new generation? So they're moving towards Bret, and they're moving towards Shawn. They're moving towards like the kind of the smaller guys ish. Diesel is the outlier, but they were moving kind of that direction. They're trying to get rid of the old guard. I remember those old commercials where they were kind of making fun of Hulk Hogan or the Huckster and the Nacho Man. Yeah. And so you see Kevin Nash or see Scott Hall keep using the Nacho Man and all that little stuff. And it was like, man, is this WWF? Like, are they really coming to to take over. Like, who's gonna be next? Like, I bet it's gonna be, this person. And it was kind of like, it kind of had a lot of us talking.
Yeah.
And so who did you think the third person was gonna be? Hulk Hogan was never on my mind.
Never on my mind. I really had no clue. I mean, like, if it was going to be anybody, you think about that click, you would think Shawn might have went over there. But I really had nobody in my mind. Like, I didn't know. Like, at that point, it could have been anybody.
It really could have been anybody. And this is still at a time in wrestling where we, especially us as kids, like, we didn't know who was really friends behind, backstage, or who was really, we didn't care about any of that. We know if they're friends in front of the camera, they must be friends in real life.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the way that went. So I had no idea about the inner workings of the clique or any of that stuff at any point. So really, you're right, man. I thought it could have been anybody. And I remember watching that whole match at Bash at the Beach. And everybody's installed, the rest WCW guys are in the Sting paint and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that, and it's like, mind you, it's like a 25-minute match. And there was no sign of a third person.
Right.
So when Hogan walks out, I remember going, oh, shoot, here comes Hulk Hogan. He's about to, clear house and everything like that.
Yeah.
And when he dropped that leg on Randy Savage.
Yeah, man.
I've never been a Hulk Hogan fan, honestly. Up until Hollywood Hogan, I had never in my life been a Hulk Hogan fan. I thought he was corny. And I was always a bad guy, type of dude. So my favorite wrestlers growing up were Mr. Perfect. Still to this day is my favorite wrestler of all time. I think he's the greatest wrestler to ever live. And, obviously Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Those were guys that I really, really, enjoyed. Hulk Hogan, no, was not one of them.
At that time, I was, back in the day, I was a JYD fan. So I was always looking for that push for Junkyard Dog. I'm like, when is he going to get pushed up to that main event status?
Never.
I wanted him, right? I'm like, come on, Junkyard Dog that's my dude. I wanted to see it happen.
We know as Black wrestling fans that like the Bobby Lashley, the run he's been on has been impressive. Like, I hope they continue that. I think they're building towards something with Brock, in the end.
I hope so.
I think that'd be great for Lashley, and he needs to beat Brock Lesnar. Like,
that's what I was going to say. Like, who do you think he's going to win?
But you think they're going to push? They didn't have a lot of, for guys like JYD and stuff like that. There was no room at the top for them because Hogan was just so big. Even Mr. Perfect was supposed to get a title run, and it was like, Hulk Hogan is kind of the guy, right now. So what do you do? But when he came out and he dropped those leg drops, and the first thing he tells Gene Okerlund is, you can tell this crowd to shut up if they want to hear what I have to say. It's like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan is telling the world to shut up. Like, is this life? Is this real? And it was one of those things, like, it shocked everybody. And it was one of the things that like, we had no idea what was going to come of it. Like, at that point, it was just like, okay, 3 guys. And I honestly don't think WCW had a great idea of exactly where it was going to go and if it was going to work. And because you lose a lot by letting Hogan go be a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure how that was going to work. But then you get to which could be, man, the greatest moment in wrestling is the building and the creation of the New World Order.
That was super dope. Super dope.
I mean, what part of the NWO wasn't fresh?
Yeah, man, from the beginning, and then throughout its run, like, trying to figure out, well, who's going to join, and there were so many fake outs and all that stuff about who they was trying to pull in, and then people, trying to acting like they were going to join, but then they didn't. Like, that was so dope.
I think and just the fact that you just didn't know who was, like, on Team NWO, like, and so, like, just I remember, like, that first kind of Nitro when Hogan kind of came out and he's wearing the all black, and it was like, oh, that's we've only seen that once before, and it's when Hogan goes dark and he tries to do some other stuff and he drives the monster truck. But this was different, and he had the NWOs kind of spray painted on the shirt. Yeah, I was like, man, that's dope. Like, I mean, honestly, and I'll keep saying this, like, there was nothing that was not fresh about the NWO. Like, everything that they did was when I first heard when they did the Bash at the Beach the very first time, and they came out, man, that the NWO theme music, in my opinion, could be the greatest theme music of all time. It could very well be the best entrance music ever.
It could be. I agree.
That old school porno music, which is exactly what, for those of you who don't know, the NWO's theme was porno music. You know, and they took it and made. And actually, I think, to be honest, I think a lot of stuff that from WCW from their themes were porn music.
I believe it.
No,
and if it wasn't porn, it was a straight up rip off of some other rock and roll.
It was another song. It was straight up another song. Like so. So listen, this is going to prove the perv in most of us wrestling fans. But being from Portland, Channel 50 was when we were kids. It was the Playboy channel, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so my grandparents had all the channels at home, and so as like a 6th and 7th and 8th grade kid, unfortunately, I was watching a lot of Playboy channel. Yeah. And so one time I'm watching it and knowing all the themes, I'm looking at it in mind. They don't show anything going on. This time they don't show any penetration or anything like that. So it's like, it's basically Skinamax, at that point.
Right. Yeah.
But the song in the background is fucking Chris Benoit's, WCW thing. I'm like, wait a minute, to a T. Like that's, I'm like, that's Chris Benoit's music. And then they did another one, and I was like, yo, that's somebody else's music, bro. Like, so everything that they did was a ripoff from porn, but that music in particular, that slow guitar kind of riff and everything, was like, man, what the fuck is that? Because it's dope. And like, you remember wrestlers used to come to the ring, and there was the music was real energetic, and I am a real American. Like, okay, like that's that's how I get you jacked up. And here's some dudes with a slow stroll to the ring. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of walking cool and wearing bandanas and throwing their little, click up to the
like,
It was like, man, these white boys are cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
I want to be one.
Right.
I want to be one. What do you remember about that point? Because I just remember like these white boys are cool as fuck, man.
See, that's my thing. Like, theme music has always been a thing for me. I'm like, if you got a nice theme, like I'm following with you, I'm rocking with you. And to go from Hogan's old song to that joint, I was feeling that. That was really dope. I liked it.
Shout out to the homie Kevin Taylor, KTMJ23. Make sure you follow him on Twitch, like, subscribe, all that stuff. What's up to Ben and Mike 1823? Appreciate you, bro. If you guys have comments and you want to leave some, you got some memories you want to throw in there, man, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We'll make sure we kind of read those for you and everything, because it was a great time in all of our lives, man. Who was the biggest surprise member for you to the NWO? Like the guy you didn't see happening?
Let me see. I gotta think about that one. I didn't think Savage was going to join after he got the leg drop. I really didn't see Savage joining like that. I mean, all of it to me was all of it was a surprise. Like, you just didn't know.
I thought the one cool thing was, I don't know if it was cool, maybe it was coincidence, but I thought it was cool, is the fact that, man, all the first guys to join the NWO were all WWF guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so remember, so the fourth member of the NWO was, I think, was it Ted DiBiase?
I think so.
I think it might have been Ted DiBiase at that point. And so, you're looking like, oh shit, there's Ted DiBiase. And then I think after that, Six came, and I'm trying to remember who was in between Ted and Six. But
the fact
once
that he left
came,
that was something else.
Once X-Pac came, I was like, okay, these dudes are really going full WWF mode and everything. But for me, the one person that joined NWO that I wasn't expecting, I thought was the first big turn was the Giant. Remember when Paul White or the Big Show when he first turned and went to the NWO?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a message from Yin Yang. That's weird.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see what's up. I'll read it when I'm done, man. Shout out to ACW, man. Shout out to Alpha Championship Wrestling, for doing their thing. But yeah, I remember when he joined, it was kind of like, oh shit, really? Like, came in with the big choke slam and nobody saw it coming. And it was like, okay, now they got their real kind of big man. Because I think Kevin Nash always liked being a big man, but now he didn't have to be the Giant of of the group.
Right. Because they had an actual giant in that.
An actual giant, and I remember those first commercials. You know, they had the NWO T-shirt, and the giant was in the commercial with Hall and Nash, and it was like, and he fits in with them a little bit. He's kind of corny and kind of wants to be cool at this point. And you saw all of a sudden, you saw the giant had more personality, just being this big lumbering choke slam, like Dungeon of Doom was stupid. Dungeon of Doom. We were talking earlier about the best stables in wrestling, and Dungeon of Doom may be the worst one ever.
Yeah.
The worst one ever. Like the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan was a good wrestler, but that wasn't the Shark, the Zodiac. Like
it was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But the NWO starting was like the beginning of like the kind of reality based wrestling where you didn't know what was what or what was going on. Like these niggas were coming into the shows or were coming into matches mid match.
Right.
Their music playing in the middle of somebody's match is like, well, I guess we're done.
Right,
type thing. And they're just either you get beat up in the ring or you just leave on your own, and I thought that was cool. What do you think what was the coolest part for you of the NWO? Because for me, it was like mid-match, mid-whatever, mid-promo, like once that music starts going, that porno music. And I think Tony Schiavone always did a great job of like selling it, like, here comes the music, like, oh shit, well, fuck what I was talking about. Here comes the NWO, whatever. And I always thought that was super tight.
It was tight. I pretty much just like how they thought they ran the show. Like they pretty much they did run the show, and they did whatever they wanted to do. That was it.
Yeah.
And not knowing what they were going to say, like they would come, like they pretty much changed the promo game to me. Like it got more mature. It got to a level where, at the age that we were like, oh snap, did they just say that? Yeah. Like I thought that was dope.
No, yeah, and it was kind of they were pushing that envelope a little bit, but they still stayed within their little box of what they could do.
Yeah.
And on the other side, on the WWE side, WWF side at that time, one of my favorite wrestlers, probably my favorite wrestler, Shawn Michaels, was the guy.
Yeah.
And he's looking at his homeboys on the other side, and they're pretty much running wrestling. Like, again, and there was nothing about the NWO that wasn't cool. Even the t-shirts, 3 letters, NWO was like, this is the black and white. It wasn't no shiny colors. There was no black and white. Dopest shit in the world. I still have an NWO t-shirt to this day.
Yeah. Oh,
to this day, I have an NWO t-shirt, and it's just one of those things. Like it's kind of old and everything. I can't bear to get rid of this shirt. It's just too.
Don't do that. Cool. Never do that.
It's just.
I was going to wear one of my wrestling shirts. I got a wrestling shirt. I ain't put that one on. But
man, I've got a few of them. Whenever they come to town, or usually I buy them online because they can be. They're much cheaper online than at any show that you'll ever go to.
Yeah.
But that was the first wrestling shirt that I personally ever paid money for. You know what I mean? And so it was one of those things. And so then look on the other side, and WWF is, as I think about it, man, they're struggling at this time. You know what I mean? Like they're like struggling. I'm trying to think of, so you have Shawn, you have Bret, you've got Owen still, who was underused at that point.
Totally.
You've got guys, but you're just not using them. You got Billy Gunn, but he's rockabilly at this point.
Yeah,
I think so. He's not even like anything tangible or anything. I think the Road Dog was he? He was Jesse James at that point trying to come back.
Yeah.
Double J Jeff Jarrett.
Was he the roadie at the time?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
He had Double J Jeff Jarrett. Not Slap Nuts Jeff Jarrett, which was a great, but I'm talking JEFFJARRETT. Jeff Jarrett, like the weak one. You know what I mean? And like you didn't have like a huge roster. And I felt bad for Shawn because it was like he's at the best he's ever been, but ratings suck. You're getting blown out. Half the people ain't there. Yeah. And so WWF, I think, kind of takes a page out of WCW's playbook and said, "Hey, man, we can't do this no more. Like, we got to push that envelope. We've got to figure out something else." So for me, the NWO is more than just the I guess it's really this apex of WCW, but for me, it's really the start of something else. You know what I mean? It was the change. It was the change that wrestling needed.
It was a change for American wrestling.
You know why? Because we were older. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't saying prayers. Well, yes, I
I mean,
was.
right.
I wasn't, I wasn't doing the prayers and the vitamins and everything that Hulk Hogan was like. I wasn't doing that shit. So,
Yeah.
The Macho Man, all that shit got old to you. It's corny now that you're older. And now we're into Snoop Dogg and we're into Tupac and all those young kids that are into all that, man. We older and we going in a different direction and stuff like that. And so,
right.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely the change that they needed.
It definitely.
And so insert the creation of Attitude, man. Here it comes.
By far my favorite era. By far.
Attitude. Listen, the Attitude Era is not. It's the greatest era of professional wrestling in history.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say Attitude Era is absolutely WCW as well. Like, let's be clear. Like, they were competing with each other, but WWF Attitude was the apex of pro wrestling. Like, the guys got a chance to they really lived those characters, and then all those dumbass characters were gone.
Yeah,
Garbage Man.
I was about to say, like Duke the Dumpster Drozy,
man,
he was
Garbage Man and Ice and hockey players.
Yeah,
and what's my guy's name?
Brutus the Barber. Yeah, the Barber.
One of my favorite tag teams of all time is Demolition. I think I've actually probably my favorite tag team of all time. Not enough credit. They don't get enough credit for being as good as they were, but whatever. And they made Barry Darsow Doink the Clown, and then they made him the Repo Man.
Yeah.
And the Repo Man was like, all right. Luckily he did his job and he got him. He tried to get him over, but you had a bunch of job-based characters, and it was kind of
Simon Miller loves Repo Man. Simon Miller.
Yes.
Yeah, he loves Repo Man.
Was terrible. Repo Man was awful. Everything about it. And then remember after the match, Repo Man would tie up your legs and then like pull you around the ring and everything. Like, man, come on, man. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. So you had a bunch of corny wrestlers, like Shawn Michaels wrestling Vader. And Vader was really cool in like 1991, 92. But now that we're older, like Vader's not as cool, especially without the shoulder pads and everything. So WWF, obviously, nigga, we got to make a change.
Yeah. Well, WWF was also castrating people like left and right as soon as they got there. So
Ron Simmons?
Yeah, right.
He talks about it openly. Like, man, you put that dumbass blue helmet on me. Man. And you pretty much ruined it for me.
Man.
I didn't have a chance. After you put that helmet on me, it was a wrap. So he worked his way out of that into the gimmick, and I thought it worked.
The Farouk gimmick was the shit.
Farouk, yeah, absolutely, man. Farouk Assad was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And proven again, WWF doesn't have a black writer. They just come up with names that they think works, and they kind of go from there. So that's not super surprising to me that they would do that. So you mentioned the blue helmet Farouk, Duke the Dumpster. Like, this was the competition, and at the top of the card is the Heartbreak Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, it's going to be hard to do stuff from there. And so what they did is they said, man, we got to show our, we got to show who we are. I forget what documentary it was. And Vince McMahon kind of says that to the locker room, kind of almost in the sense of the ruthless aggression speech that he gave. Like, hey, man, those stars are gone. Hogan, Savage, them niggas are gone. Like, somebody else has got to be the guy, and somebody else has got to want to step in and be the guy. And from there, you slowly see things kind of ramping up a little bit. Let me ask you this, because this is important.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the most important person to the start of the Attitude Era, in your opinion?
The start?
Yeah.
So we're going back to the year 98, 99?
The start, well, for me, Attitude started 97, 98. 96, 97. That's, to me, that's the start of the Attitude Era.
Well, it seems to me that I can't say it's just one person. It seems like D-Generation X kicked off the bulk of the change. It's kind of what it seems like to me. So 100%. I would say Shawn probably, Shawn was the leader of that. He was already at the top of his game. So Shawn took it and he brought Triple H with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with Shawn. Like for like Shawn is probably I think he's probably second for me, but it's for me it's still Hollywood Hogan. Like, I mean, it's
You're
hard.
right. I was thinking about. I was just thinking about WWF.
Like, and really, I mean, I guess in response to, like, I mean, as far as WWF changing that attitude, but I mean, as a whole era for me, it was Hulk Hogan's turn. But overall, for the WWF, man, I really thought it was just Shawn and kind of placing more light on his fucked up life and some of the stuff that he was doing and stuff that he was getting into. Then it was like, hey, Shawn Michaels might be kind of out there. And man, after that, what was it?
When he lost his smile.
Oh, when he came back and lost his smile, and just came back different, like that SummerSlam when it was Undertaker versus Bret Hart for the title, and Bret ended up winning. He hits Undertaker in the head with the chair, and that kind of kicked off their rivalry, but also shortened Shawn's career, because he ended up missing 5 years due to that. But DX, man, NWO started it. Like, NWO was cool, but NWO was cool like your big brother was cool, like your big cooler older brother with all the gear and everything like that, and just they walk cool and everything. DX was you and your homeboys.
Right.
DX was you. You guys were just younger and just the bad ones in class that just always got, or always getting in trouble for doing something dumb. Not even something bad, just something dumb. You know what I mean? And so that kind of was why I saw DX and was like, everything was just a chuckle for me. Like, these things, bro. Are you looking at this?
Exactly, yeah. I know mad kids who got in trouble at school for doing a DX chop.
Man, who does? That's hilarious. Yeah, like that's it means, and I just thought them saying whatever, cursing on TV a little more than ass, all that type of stuff. So I thought DX was right there, but I don't think Bret gets enough credit for his role in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he did. He went through some changes, and I think, especially when the Hart Foundation decided to do their thing, and they basically went Team Canada.
Yeah.
So that
was brilliant. Like, that's been WWF's like foundation. Like, we're gonna find the foreign guy to be the champion. That's what they did to make Hulk Hogan the guy. Let's find the foreign guy to be the champion. Let's crown him, and then let's have him trash America every chance he gets. So this way, when he loses, like, the pops will be huge. But then when we go to his home country or his hometown, like, the response he's going to get is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
man, Bret was not a great talker.
No,
he wasn't an awesome talker.
Yeah,
but when he was on, doing the Canada thing, like, you being an annoying talker only made people hate you more.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
I say this about America. Like, every game's okay, here he goes. And it's bad, but it's like, it only made you hate Bret that much more for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and really, I wasn't all that much of a Bret Hart fan to begin with. I was actually more, more on Shawn's side, of course. But when he went heel, you saw something happening there.
Oh yeah, when Bret went bad guy, I think everybody is better as a bad guy.
Yeah,
honestly, I mean, especially guys that are like natural kind of assholes.
Yeah,
like, them dudes are better as heels. Like, they don't work as faces, And if they do, and if they are a baby face, then they're one of those baby faces that's like, you can't really tell what he is, sometime. Like, he's just somebody that's there to kind of kick ass. Like, Stone Cold was never really a good guy or bad guy. He's gonna stun everybody.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in the ring with him, sharing a beer, you're gonna get stunned. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why niggas even bother. Like, why do you stay in the ring and have a beer with this dude?
Right.
Have you not been watching what's about to happen? I wouldn't want to have a beer with him now because I'm scared to get for no reason.
They think they safe.
I guess so, safe. which is super silly. Yeah. But Bret's kind of number one grooming of Stone Cold, not grooming, but just kind of really making Stone Cold the made man that he was. I thought was really important, and I thought it was equally as important for Austin not to lose that match at WrestleMania 13.
Yeah, he gave him the rub.
That momentum that he had,
and gave him the rub in that.
And they did, but they gave it to Bret as well, because they basically were like, he didn't lose to you, or he didn't beat you. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't beat him, and so there was no like, all right, well, I'm not as good as him, and this is going to put him over. And it just kind of was like, gave Bret the edge he needed to finish, his career. he'll probably. I don't think he'll admit it, but I think Bret liked that last run of being the heel.
I'm sure he did.
Honestly, I think there's a part of me that said, man, he really liked doing the Hart Foundation thing.
Yeah, because he got to speak his mind. He really got to say what was actually happening. He got to get it out. He got to get it off his chest.
Whenever you're a heel, you kind of get to shoot a little bit, and so you kind of get to put a little bit of that out there. I think that's why I think currently the Miz is the greatest heel in wrestling. Like I don't believe there's a better bad guy than Mike Mizanin. That's just how I feel. I don't feel like there's a better bad guy than Mike Mizanin. I think Seth Rollins is great right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Rollins is awesome. Lashley is great for different reasons, but as a bad guy, as somebody that you just really love to hate, I don't think anybody's better than The Miz. That's just
I don't know. I think Randy is good.
Randy's great, but Randy just learned how to talk. He in his in his thing with Stone Cold, he was saying, "I'm just kind of finally at this point getting comfortable on the mic." It's like, damn, it took 20 years.
Right, he's been
just
there for
now
a minute.
getting to a point to where you're comfortable saying this, and you don't look so rehearsed and all those little things. Like, because Randy has a tendency of looking really rehearsed when he's doing his promos. So this is the first time in a while forever he hasn't. But the Miz has never, as a superstar, he's never looked uncomfortable with the mic.
I can see that. Yeah.
That day when he cut that promo about being kicked out of the locker room, that was. I remember watching that. I was like, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this dude is gonna be super fresh. I'd rather whether you hate me for everything I am and love me for something. I was like, that nigga, you got it, bro. And he hasn't stopped. And that's why the WWF always makes it a point to make him Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion. I'm mad they took the WWE title away from him so fast. They could have did some heel coward shit and let him hold on to it for a month and a half. That's fine. Like, have somebody come in and cheat and kick Lashley in the nuts or something like that, and just run out with the title. Like,
right? Okay, what's the point? What's the point of having Morrison there?
there's no point if you have a lackey and you can't use him. There's no point in everything. But in the case of Bret, I think he was really enjoying that role as man. Except I think he enjoyed it to the fact that he got to speak his mind. But I also don't think Bret liked getting booed. Yeah,
I agree.
I think that was weird for him.
And you can kind of still see that today, in his interviews. If you listen to him, I don't think he really liked that. Yeah,
Bret seems like he's a very bitter guy. At this point. I don't know. I could be wrong, and I don't want to pass judgment on anybody, but Bret just seems really, really bitter when he talks all the time about everything about Shawn, about Ric Flair, about this guy, Seth Rollins. He seems like he's very, bitter. And I guess I understand, but damn, there is a point to where it could be a little bit too much. But I say the Attitude Era, was sparked by the NWO, and we as wrestling fans, it was the greatest time to be a wrestling fan. The reason why you love it so much is because, man, you start watching Nitro because it came on a little bit early, a few minutes earlier than Raw. And so you start watching Nitro and everything like that and see what's happening and everything like that. And then you shift right over to Monday Night Raw and see what was happening there. And you will watch Raw longer and everything because you knew that there was going to be a repeat of Nitro as soon as it went off. Yeah. There was going to be some show in between, and there's going to be a repeat of Nitro. And so it was like, well, shoot, I can just go ahead and watch Raw right now, and then after Raw is over at 10, I'll watch Nitro from 10 to 12 and everything. And I thought it was just perfecto.
It was.
Honestly, it was perfect.
Man, I wish I could go back to those days, just recapturing those feelings, those emotions. It would be so awesome.
And it's what's crazy is that will never happen again. As far as feeling like those feelings, as far as, man, this is fun. I can't wait. I'm being at school as a eighth grader, a freshman, a sophomore. Monday night. It's like, bro, are you gonna watch Raw tonight? Are you gonna watch WCW? It was one of those things. I'd have a lot of friends that were wrestling fans, but the ones I did, call each other bro on the landline. You have to pick up the phone, make sure ain't nobody on the phone.
Yeah.
You gotta dial this and bro, you should see this. Oh my God, like it's great. You know, that was nuts, man. And so I don't think we're ever going to be at a point to where we have that type of excitement around something. Like it's crazy. Like I have a son, and he gets really excited about that, and like about certain things. Like, you know, I'll be in here watching something. He'll come in on Mondays like, oh man, guess who's on Raw? Or look who's coming. And guess who came back to NXT today? Or guess who's doing this? Like, so there's a real excitement for him when he's watching. And I remember that. And so I'm always like, oh, for real, bro? Right. Like sometime I'll go see, you know, but it's one of those things, like, as that was the most exciting time for any wrestling fan. And I don't think we'll ever get that back, because I don't think we'll ever AEW will. I don't think it'll never be at a point of popularity like WCW.
I don't know. They're building. They're trying to build towards it, but
they're trying to build.
You can't capture lightning in a bottle.
You can't. I think you have to make your own storm, and I think that's the thing. And I think they're doing a good job of trying to build their own stars. Mm-hmm. But the thing about building a star is you have to have at least a couple recognizable names that those stars can be built on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so Kenny Omega, like Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose. Yeah. Was he ever really a great WWE superstar? You know, like of the Shield, he was the third one. Right. Right. He was clearly the third member of the Shield. He was Crush from Demolition. You know, he was like he's here. You know,
they tried to turn him into Brian Pillman.
They tried to turn him into Pillman. He's not Pillman. Right. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. It didn't really work the way they wanted to. But what they need to do is they need to find a guy that's not Jericho, number one. Yeah. You know, because as fans now, we know him, Jericho's like 50, 55.
Yeah, he's 50 something. Yeah.
At this point. Like, I mean, like if you can't beat up a 60-year-old man, I don't really know, you know, what to say to you. And I just think they need that other guy to help put them like completely over the top as something. Like, and I don't know, it's tough to say who it is, but I think it's got to be an Orton, you know, or something along those lines, man. Because
it's not going to be Paul White.
No.
And I don't think it's going to be Christian.
No, it's not. Like none of those guys are like, and Christian's old too. Christian's like, you know, he's like 49, 52. So it's just one of those things. So they need another like big name star to really make people pay attention to them.
What do you think about Samoa Joe?
I think Joe could work. I think especially if built the right way, Joe could definitely work. I think WWF does a great job of ruining characters. Yeah, ruining people. They had this great thing with Bobby Roode or Robert Roode, and they ruined it for no reason. Like they had a great thing with Shinsuke, and they ruined it.
Oh my God, I was so hurt.
Yeah, like Shinsuke, like anybody that came from I think that's why guys are asking to stay on NXT now. It's like, they called Adam Cole up a long time ago. He's like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like this will be fine here because I don't want to get there. And all of a sudden, you decide you want to bring back the cruiserweight title and you give that to me. Like I don't want to. Right. I don't want to do that. And so that, you know, but hopefully, I think Triple H has, you know, decided like, okay, well, this can be its own show too. Like, you know, like those two. It doesn't have to be the minor show anymore, which is super, super important. So
what do you think about Keith Lee and what they did to him? You think he should have went back down, or
why bring him up to the main roster if you're gonna change his theme, you know, put a stupid leotard on him or a little singlet on him for no reason? Why? You brought Mia Yim up and made her a part of
Retribution.
Why?
Yeah.
You had Dominik Dijakovic, who had proven he is a good singles wrestler and a good big man singles wrestler. What do? You put him in a mask and call him Crowbar?
Right.
What was his name? Was that
Crowbar or T-Bar?
Come on, man.
I forgot. It was T-Bar and Mace. That's what it was.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Like, I mean, you had an opportunity to do any of that stuff, and you just like I wouldn't want, if I'm on NXT, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
Austin, what was it? Austin Theory went up to the main roster, didn't work. I'll go back to NXT. This is better. Like it's better wrestlers. It's a better show. overall.
Even Finn Balor. Finn Balor went back.
Balor's money right now in NXT.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just a better show on
Yeah.
NXT and AEW. The issue with AEW for me is I like high spots. They're great, and I think you should have a couple of those throughout the night. But whenever I'm watching like the Lucha, like not Lucha Dragons, but any one of those, tag teams wrestle, it's like, oh man, 450 shooting star. It was like everything is like a backflip off the top. It's like, okay, that's only cool when you do it once or twice. You know what I'm saying? There can't be the whole match, and then they do the one spot every single week where you've got 10 dudes standing there waiting, looking at somebody jumping off the top rope and just standing there to catch them. It's like, bro, this is corny. I can't stand that part. But until they can fix those things and just do a better job of booking their bookings, it's weird. It's weird, and they want to go with this whole win-loss thing and everything like that. So it takes away. You don't have a lot of stories.
Yeah,
and that's my issue. There is like there needs to be more stories than one. Like every segment needs to be about a story or or something like that, and that's not really the case. So whatever, that's how I feel about AEW, and hoping that it'll get a little bit better and everything, but we'll see. But man, what are final thoughts, man? I know we've been talking for a little bit, man, but
don't feel like it.
No, man, it doesn't feel like it, man. It's only been 46 minutes and 26 seconds, 27, 28. So, and not too long, but it's easy to sit here and talk about this for the next little bit, man. But
we got to get the rest of the fellas in this here too.
We do, but you gotta, Kevin's got to do his makeup, and he's got to, he's got to make sure he's good, and make sure the dog goes on a nice 4-mile hike, and everything like.
Make sure we go all right.
There's some things that are going to go into playing him, in the game. There's going to be a few hoops you're going to have to jump through first before you actually just get him in on the game. But that's the homie, and hopefully we can get him in there. I want to get my little guy in here. He's as knowledgeable of wrestling as anybody else.
That would be dope.
It's pretty weird, but it's also pretty impressive. Like some of the things he'll remember is, oh, that was Money in the Bank 2013. It's like, what? Like,
wow.
Why do you know that? And so it's and he doesn't like Attitude Era.
No,
he doesn't like it, which I guess is good for me.
Because
if I'm
a lot of stuff going on.
If I'm a parent, I watch some of the shit now. I was like, I could never let my son watch this.
Right, everything was Sable and Jackie.
To the whole train. It's like that. Really? He came out there and said, "Roll the fatty for this pimp daddy."
Say pimping ain't easy. Yeah,
it's like he's saying this on TV.
You know how many wardrobe malfunctions they had back then?
Oh my gosh, man! He's getting into the ring and stuff like that, or or somebody's titty coming out on TV. It's like, man, I can't let my son watch this. When Triple H was in the ring with DX and telling him, like,
telling him,
pull your shirt up, But she did that shit. It
was a great time to be us.
It was a great time to be a teenager, but it was like, man, I could never let my 9-year-old watch the Attitude Era. That he could watch the first hour and then you got to turn it off, bro. You got to turn it to WWE. You can't watch this.
Yeah,
you can't watch this, man.
Right.
But we're gonna do this again, man. I thought this was fun.
Man.
Hopefully, get some people in here. If you'd like to participate, go ahead and leave, email in the chat or get at one of us on the YouTube or on Twitch. You can find Shadi at Shadi_Uchiha.
Yeah, Uchiha.
It's Japanese.
Same thing on Instagram. You can hit me on Instagram.
Is the same thing. The YouTube is the same thing. And that's Shadi SHOTTI_Uchiha UCHIHA. So make sure you get at him. You can get at me at TaylorMade503. That's the same for the Instagram. That's the same for the Twitch. I think that's the same for my Twitter, which I very seldom use. But if you want to tweet at me, I'll tweet you back. Add me. Follow me.
I'm on there too. Same shit. I'm on there too. Yeah.
Same name.
Yep.
Yeah. So follow us. We'll follow you back. But this was fun, bro. Let's we got to do this again. Yeah. So I know it's getting late in VA. The Blazers are playing. They were up. Now they're down. Hopefully that'll change over the next little bit. So man, for everybody out there, hopefully you're enjoying. I think it's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So enjoy your playoff games. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good Friday. We're gonna be back here with you soon. But other than that, we're gonna holler at y'all. It's the evolution of wrestling. Peace.
Evolution. All right.